WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Vast Welfare Rights. You've been successful. You have found us. We're here. My name is Maureen Taylor. I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization, and we're getting a lot of calls down at the Welfare Rights office. People needing help with a light bill, a gas bill, a water bill. Marion is saying something about food stamps. We've been talking about these things for a long time, and all of a sudden people are saying, oh, I might need a little bit of assistance. Where have you been? My goodness. So you're about to get an official welcome from the National Welfare Rights Union President and Chair, Marion Kramer. So, Marion, if you will give people an official welcome. We got a few things to talk about this morning.
Oh, yes. We have to hurry up. Again, we're happy to be here to be able to talk with you and you to talk back with us. And remember to call in at either the number. I was looking to check to see if the numbers were below.
They are now.
Okay. The numbers are below your TV. You can write them down or do whatever. But please turn your phone down, as well as any other items that might hurt you from being able to speak when you call here. So, okay, we're looking for your calls. Call 313-868-0342 or 035147. Wait a minute, 4336. Or the website, those of you that have a computer, www.tv33whpr.com. So we hope that you will participate, and I hope you get mad about this nonsense out here, about Great Lakes Water Department and all of them, and Glima and all the rest of them that are going crazy. So give us a call.
All right. There are a couple of things that have happened in the last week, the last day. My phone was jumping this morning with text messages, and people upset because the Democrats and the Republicans have united around another safety check for moms and dads and mostly children, mothers and children, that are running for safety in Ukraine. And I am all for helping women and children that are running to try to save their lives. I'm all for that.
Yes.
But we got a problem here because we've got women and children in America. We've got women and children in Michigan. We for doggone sure got women and children in Highland Park or Hamtramck or Detroit that need assistance because some of these programs are coming to an end.
Yes.
So the eviction programs that may be coming to an end, and the Wayne County Treasurer was just on TV moments ago giving you information about the MyHoff program And there are a lot of programs at Wayne County. Wayne Metro is operating 388-9799. I think Marion and I have been giving out that number for about 2.5 years now. And folks are a little bit slow to get this together. But Marion, something did happen. Day before yesterday, I wanted to raise, and we got a guest that's going to be calling us in about 5 or 10 minutes. We had one of the instructors at my school got sick and got lightheaded, and for just a couple of moments was semi-conscious in the classroom. So students came and got help, and an ambulance was called because we're not sure, what was wrong. And she was administered some help in the building, and the EMT group walked her to the ambulance and put her in there and took the vital signs and whatnot, and had her started to sign some documents, some papers. And she asked, well, what is this I'm signing? Because she wasn't, 100% sure. And they told her, these are your commitment papers that you promise, or you make a commitment that you're going to pay this bill. What bill? She said, what bill are you talking about? The ambulance bill, because it's not covered by your insurance. And it's $500. So, of course, she got herself together and humbled herself and held on as she got off the ambulance. I didn't hear about this until, an hour or so later when people were reporting what happened. I think that's just damn outrageous. And I'm going to say damn. So, Mary, say something about that. That is so horrible.
General and a lot of the guys that had already was able to come together and try to deal with health care for all. You remember that, Maureen?
Yeah.
We were a part of that. Both of us are part of that. And we still dealing with it today. But yet and still these crooks at the helm of a lot of these programs, and also some of the ones that's at city council and stuff, some of them can end up with, good health care and all that type of stuff, and who have stole money. And look, even the presidents and all of them, they are taken care of until they die. Their children are too. So therefore, here we can't even, our people cannot even get health care for all.
To tell a person getting on an ambulance that you don't know what's wrong, and to tell them that they have to make a commitment and sign your name to pay $500 transportation costs.
That's criminal.
I think it's almost like gangsters.
It's criminal.
It's a gangster move. I just haven't had a chance to get on it the way I want to, and certainly this is going to be a written complaint to the mayor, a written complaint to the president of the Detroit City Council, a written complaint to the director of health services for Detroit. I don't even know who that is anymore, if we have one. But I'm going to write a bunch of letters, and I'm going to leave a whole lot of telephone calls to folks asking what in the devil is this all about. And I think it's just so horrible. And I wanted to report it here first because I didn't know that kind of stick-up was going on, okay? Mary, let's take this first call. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You are on the air.
Grand Rising, everyone.
Grand Rising. Good morning.
How are you? Good to hear everybody's voice. I'm here, Linda Wheeler, with the Highland Park News.
Go right ahead, and today you're going to have to talk fast because in about 8 minutes we got a guest that we invited, which is no more important than you, but today, talk fast. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Once again, I've got the update of the City of Highland Park's and supporting communities' free COVID-19 vaccinations. That's Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Wednesdays only from 2 to 8 p.m. That's Wednesdays only from 2 to 8 p.m. First and second vaccines for ages 5 and up. First booster for ages 12 and up. FDA-approved second booster vaccine for ages 50 and up, or those with a compromised immune system. Free COVID testing, however, Monday at 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Once again at the Henry T. Ford Recreation Center here in beautiful Highland Park, 10 Pickett, Highland Park, Detroit. The phone number, once again, is 313-580-3208. That's 313-580-3208 for your free COVID-19 vaccine.
That's good. I was there yesterday and taking a elder over to get a booster shot. And once again, walk right in there maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the booster shot was administered, and had to wait the necessary 15 minutes afterwards to make certain there were no adverse effects. And while we were there, one other person came in as we were going out. And really, parents and grandparents and children, you know, you need to get vaccinated because you don't know what's coming this summer. So listen to what Ms. Wheeler, Grand Rising, is telling you. You better follow that advice.
Please.
Okay, all right, go ahead, dear.
And finally, the last and tasty announcement is Sonny's Neck Bones, home of the neck grilled cheese sandwich. That's you can get your beef, your pork, and your turkey. Call 248-257-0474. That's home of the neck bone grill sandwich. Your beef, your pork, and your turkey here in Highland Park at 16455 Woodward Avenue, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Go on, you won't be sorry. You will love those beautiful neck bone sandwiches or the neck bones and tater
Neck bone
tots,
sandwich.
which is also another great treat you could have for dinner. Share it with another person. Guess what? You may even have some for the next day. Every time I order from Sonny's, I always got something for two days at least.
Okay, all right. Sonny's neck bone sandwiches, and you can get them with the turkey neck and a cow neck or a pig neck. So you can pick one of those three, or pick all of those three and do a taste fest to see which one you like the best.
Right, a combo.
A combo. All right, that's what you call it. Now, Grand Rising, anything new to report about these endless attacks on residents of Highland Park and the water situation? Anything new we should know about?
There was a protest of DTE just this Thursday over at Avalon Village. But as far as that Great Lakes Water Authority, we're still staying on that. We've sent out letters to the Treasury and to Eagle on our protest, as well as the petitions that we all generated just last year to let them know, the people of Highland Park pay their bills. This is a federal decision that there should be a cap, no increase on the water bills, and don't blame us for you trying to be greedy and gouge the communities,
Yes, right.
you know, and letting the communities know it's not us, we're not the problem, we're the solution once we get our water station up and running again in Highland Park.
Because they
Okay.
sure stole it
All right,
in the wee hours of the night.
that's what
Yes,
happens.
they did.
All right, Grand Rising, thank you so very much for once again an exhilarating and on-time report. We'll stay attentive and depend on you to check with us again next week and keep us up to date on the happenings in Highland Park.
Will do, and good
Thank
God
you.
bless you both.
You too.
Have a great weekend.
And you as well, and be safe.
All right.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. Marion, there's a number of discussions that are going on having to do with how to handle, how to approach children that may be having problems with their education. And a lot of parents are having discussions about how parents should be dealing with the fact that virtual has not worked so very well for our kids, and there are a lot of different folks with different opinions about that. We've already discussed this question of people getting in an ambulance in Detroit and being told they have to pay X amount of dollars, and of course they get right off the ambulance is sort of being stuck up. And there are a lot of things, a lot of problems and whatnot for moderate and low income families. You know, the eviction looming over people right now. DTE shutoffs seem to be endless, and we're fighting that. Just so many things that are happening, and oftentimes I wonder if some of these politicians that are running for office, if they have ears to these kinds of things and feet on the ground. So we've got a guest that we asked to call in, and I think our guest is on the line right now. So we're going to ask our guest. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for calling in to Ask Welfare Rights. And caller, you are on the air.
Hello, thank you for.
Well, good morning. Now, caller, if you're on a speakerphone, you have to turn that off, and you have to just talk to us directly because the speakerphone gives feedback. But caller,
Okay.
are you still
I
there?
took care. Yep, I'm still here. I took care of that.
All righty, thank you very much. Please welcome one of the close friends to this broadcast, Ask Welfare Rights. The very Honorable Sharon McPhail is on the line. Ms. McPhail, thank you for joining us this morning.
Always happy to do that. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, all righty. You may have heard a little bit about what Marion and I were talking about this morning. The newest incident had to do with a instructor that got sick and got to an ambulance, and the folks on the EMT truck told her sign these documents, and her insurance is not going to pay for the transportation, and so that's a $500 charge, and I think that's just outrageous. So give me your opinion about that kind of a scenario.
Well, of course it's outrageous. It's ridiculous. But, you know, it's just that wonderful for me to see after all of these years how you and Marion and Welfare Rights continue to fight for people in situations like this.
That's great.
Yeah, well, you know, when we first started, our hair was different color, you know.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, and how things go crazy over a period of years, you know. So, yeah, I think you used the right words, ridiculous and certainly outrageous. Give us another kind of a view. What is your assessment about the conditions in Detroit, the conditions in Wayne County, conditions that are going on where moderate and low-income people seem to be adversely affected? So what is your view in terms of what you're looking at?
Well, it seems like there's really no safety net or anything anymore. It's like everything that used to be that, and it wasn't even good enough then, but everything that used to be is being withdrawn.
That's right.
And people are suffering, and it seems like we keep electing people who want to go to wherever they go and do nothing about it and blame it on, well, we don't have enough votes or whatever they come up with. But, you know, you can do something wherever you are.
Yes, that's the truth. I remember a time or two, you know, we've all been sort of in a cocoon for the last 2 years. And so many of the activities that have been going on for the last 2 years, going on 3, are connected to COVID activities. But I can remember a time, and I remember you were in the van, and we were having a conversation about some of the activities that you initiated in Detroit that folks may not recall. How's your memory this morning? What kind of programs have you been able to introduce over these last few years? Maybe not in the last 2 years because we all in the house with COVID. But what kind of programs have you brought to Detroit, especially since you raised this point? We can all do something wherever we are. So tell us what you know about.
Well, you know, one of the things I want to remember for everyone is that I can do these things because I know how it feels. I grew up in a family that was on welfare. And there were times when we didn't have enough of anything. But, so I understand what it's like. I understand the feelings that you have as a person who's subjected to that. And so initially when I started out after graduating from law school, I started at the Wolverine Bar Association with what I called Community Law Day. And just going around the city to churches and taking time after the service to set up desks with various lawyers in every discipline you can imagine to give free legal advice to people from the church. And that went on for a couple of years, even after I was stopped being president. And then as I went on to other opportunities in my legal career, I found the ability to do things that would help. One of my biggest things, as you know, is the homeless. So when I was on city council, I created something called the One Night Shelter. Yeah. With 200 churches across the city. We were housing about 10,000 homeless people over a period of those 4 years.
Yeah.
And that was no funding. And it was my program, and it's not a job for a council person, but it's something I could do because I was there. And then we took on the returning citizens and did a program for returning citizens so that changing some of the rules in HR so they could actually get a job. Mm-hmm. From there, I did the $8 prescription program back when nobody else was doing it with Canada, and we're able to get people their medications for $8. And then I did auto insurance forums across the city to help people use the system to get lower rates. And we would go places and set up, tables with staff members and volunteers and run through all of the possible ways you could lower your rates. And we had a lot of people who came in who couldn't read really well or write really well and couldn't fill out forms. So we filled out forms for everybody so no one would have to say that. So it's a level of sensitivity for the needs of the people that you're trying to help that you have to have in order to do something for them. Then when I was with the mayor's office in the city of Detroit as general counsel, I had the job of redesigning the departments in the city, and I started with workforce development. And I insourced all of the jobs that had been outsourced, got rid of all the non-performing contractors,
Yeah, you did.
and took about $100 million back and created training centers. So what the training centers would do, one, for example, was the LPN training center. Mm-hmm. And you could come and get your LPN nursing degree without charge. We gave a stipend, transportation help, and free babysitting on site. So, of course, everybody was successful because we took away all of the impediments to success. So then, in addition to that, we were able to provide additional jobs throughout that, not only that department, but in others in the city when I was in those 3 years that I was there as general counsel. And what's amazing is that when you're in a position, whether it's appointed or elected, there are things you can do. They may not be on the list of what you're supposed to do, but because you're in that position, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And at one point, as president of the National Bar Association, I started this thing called the Coalition of Minority Bar Presidents. And we went to the Congress, and Maxine Waters helped us to make inroads on the contractual things that were coming out of the savings and loan debacle. You remember that. Mm-hmm. There were hundreds of millions of dollars being paid to lawyers, accountants, banks, and in an attempt to wind that process up. When we started, there was only 1% going to minority firms and businesses and women-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. at the end of that first year, we were at 25%, thanks to Maxine Waters' intervention in terms of holding up the money that was supposed to be going to the agency. So we had, I mean, I can go on we could be here for a while because I really do believe that you have to, in order to make yourself of any value to the community, you have to step outside of what they expect you to do and do everything you can. Now, they are going to come for you when you do that.
That's true.
And I know you remember, Maureen, because you came to work with us at Detroit Community Schools when I was the CAO there.
Yep.
And when I started there in 2012, the school was performing at 4.56%. And when I left there, after they came after me in 2018, we were at 86.12%, and that's a change of almost 82 points over just 5 years.
Yep.
Because they evaluated up through the end of 2017. We built a clinic inside, a medical clinic inside the school so that all of our students and their families had free medical care. So that was, at that school, we could be here again all night talking about the things that we got to do there, and you were one of those things, actually. Not that I'm calling you a thing, but you know what I mean. You came in and took care of the housing and the electric and the gas and the water so that our families, our kids' families, could actually survive.
Every one of them, that's right. Now, let me just...
And we fed the kids.
Let me just recant so that I can make certain that folks here in the studio and folks that are listening, you have done work with homelessness, 200 churches organized to get homeless people off the streets for a period of time. And it wasn't just getting them off the streets. I know that there were wraparound services that were going on at the same time. So there, and unemployment persons, individuals that needed some kind of training to get a entry-level job and go forward. You sponsored those kinds of programs. And when I say sponsored, I mean you brought it up, you talked about it, you got it funded, and you put people into it. Housing for the aged, always an issue, and you found a way to bring finances and whatnot and support for that. Legal advice at churches, you know how difficult that is, Mary. You can't tell people at the church that a lawyer knows more than Jesus. You know, that's always a hard sell. So I remember that program, and those some hardcore lawyers to go there and talk to them preachers, but you were able to organize that. I remember the minority contractor issue, and I thought, you know, Lord have mercy, I don't know how that's going to work. And you found a way to get contracts to a whole lot of these minority and women-owned businesses, most of them still, including ABC Transportation, still working today. And, of course, the Shangri-La we had over at Detroit Community Schools. I remember when I first came there to interview for the parent coordinator job. There was I told you about this, Mary. There was a gang fight going on Burt Road. And my sister drove me up to the school, and we got out the car, and I was trying to go in the building, and she was holding me saying, look at this. And I looked, I said, oh, that goes on all the time. You know, that's why we got to get in here and straighten this out. And you remember the, you know, I call you Soup. You know, you remember Soup, people were taking their shirts off, and there was fighting and rock throwing and all kind of stuff going on, and the cars were stopped. And you got in there, and you brought them hardcore people like me, Carol Watson, and you brought that crew in there. And it took us a little, at that time, Benny Napoleon still alive, you were calling him and bring those sheriffs over here. And it took 6, 7, 8 months searching lockers with what Commander Brown? I can't think of his name. It'll come back to me. All of that, but it took time, and you were able to find a way to weed out those folks that were in there doing no good, and those that looked like they were on the edge. You brought them back, and you had a concept, and that concept was
failure is not an option. And I remember when you printed those
Right.
signs, and they were all over the place. And we had 98, 99% graduation every year. So seniors,
Every
the
year.
elderly, minority contractors, women, the homeless, you dealing with watchdog activities and taking money back. I remember one time you took some money back from us because you didn't think we was doing fast enough. But but
Well, there was a day
always,
that I
hey,
gave back three months of salary. I didn't get paid for 3 months, but that was my decision
yeah,
so that we could take the kids. You remember on that trip to Cedar Point for
I remember.
Halloween?
I remember.
Yeah, and I know I know you remember on City Council, Joanne Watson and I did that water affordability program.
Yeah.
One of the earliest ones when we took it to you, one of the earliest ones that supported it and jumped right on it with no argument. Yep.
Yeah,
But all
Yep.
the
yeah,
rest of
and in
them
the
didn't want it.
prosecutor's office, I did a
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence program. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean to
go
talk
ahead,
over
go
you.
ahead, go ahead.
No, I mean, in the prosecutor's office, I did a couple of things there. One was to try to stop them from prosecuting all of the young men beyond whatever it was they supposedly did and focus on diverting them into non-criminal kinds of processes within the office. And then, of course, creating the domestic violence family unification program where when people came in, we did not drop charges against them. We put them in counseling. And for the most part, with many of them, that worked. But for people who held guns to their spouses' heads, we didn't drop the charges. We kept going. And we made it safer for the victims so that they had no choice but to be there because it was harsh, but we made sure that the people who were going to try to kill them didn't get to do it.
Yeah, yeah. All I'm pointing out is a track record of service to the community. A track record. And if nothing else, Madam Soup, anytime there is a person able to work with clergy and not get into fist fights with them, I think you need to take a look at that, because it's just so difficult. But I wanted you to express and to detail some of the activities that you have been involved in because you're not a novice. You have brought service and have engaged service and have managed service where you were involved. And I didn't even mention the number of times that you called the parent coordinator to say there is a homeless person on the corner and here's their name and what can you do about it? That wasn't even a student. So, I can't remember the number of times we got those calls. You had to go out there 3 or 4 times to find that person because they wasn't always there. And okay, superintendent said you were standing out here. We've been looking for you for 3 or 4 days. What is your problem? And then go and figure out what was wrong and put them in an apartment and get the furniture, get the rent paid, and all those kinds of things. I
My
believe.
favorite story about that was you telling me that he didn't need an ironing board and an iron.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah, you wanted to get him an iron and an ironing cord. And he don't need that. He been living out on the corner for 3 years. He don't need that. you know. But I wanted to
that was
just
funny.
say you have a proven track record of service to the community in general and to different parts of the community in particular, seniors and women and persons of color, homeless folks, watching the city's money to make certain that all of those carpetbaggers that were standing up to get things, if they
Like
didn't
today.
deserve it, yeah, like today, like to at that time, it wasn't necessary. So give us your last 4 or 5 minutes on what do you think about the crop of elected officials, and if you had a consideration, if you had a thought about making any changes to some of those voices that are starting to be heard around the city. What do you think?
Well, I always think everybody has a right to run. But I guess I always look for not what you say you're going to do, but what you've actually done.
Uh-oh.
I mean, we have people in this race who have been in the legislature, for example, as I was, but for many years, several terms, and have not submitted a bill since 2018. And while they weren't doing that, they weren't doing anything else. And there are nothing to point to that really changed something, because you have to focus your efforts on something that will make a difference for people. Or what are you doing it for? Credit? That's why when they asked me about listing all of this stuff, Maureen, it took me a while, because not only is there a lot, but it's also, I didn't do it to get credit. I didn't call up the newspapers to take pictures of me with the kids or any of that. It was about, let me get this done. And it was done. When we walked out of there, those kids were successful.
Yes.
You remember
Yes.
that in 2017, they beat everybody in the city except Renaissance on the math SAT.
Yeah.
Our children can learn and learn at very high levels. And so, I look at all of these people, and to me, it looks like many of them don't understand the servant part of being a public servant. And it's all about using the power of the office to bring resources to your district. And I saw when that was being done by Barbara Rose and by Carolyn Kilpatrick. I mean, I needed some money for that nursing program.
Yeah.
Then I went to D.C., and Carolyn was there then, and that money beat me back to Detroit.
Okay.
So, you have to put yourself in a position to fund the things that you want to do to help the people. And when you see something and it's wrong, you have to speak out and you have to try to change it. And they're going to come for you when you do that, so you're putting yourself at risk. But what I think is needed in this 13th district, and, I've run throughout the district for county offices several times, so I know what we need is proven leadership and
Yes.
courage.
Yes.
And we all want the same things in our families. It doesn't matter what color we are or how much money we have. Everybody wants affordable health care that will save your life if needed.
Yes.
Everybody wants a chance to earn a living and take care of their kids.
Yes.
And to have opportunities for our kids and our grandkids. So I know there are many people in the district who have given up. They think government is useless, doesn't mean anything, isn't going to help them. But
That's
I promise you, hang on a little bit, because help is on the way. And the kind of help that I will offer them, we've talked about here today.
That sounds like again a repetition of your slogan when you were superintendent, and that is, failure is not an option. And so failure is not an option at the school. Failure should not be an option in Detroit or Highland Park or Hamtramck or any place else. I know this was a last minute try to drag you on here, but I hope we can drag you back a couple of more times on a Friday so that we can get you to update and keep us informed, and we'll tell you about other things that may be happening, because I do believe the road that you have traveled is full of all kinds of positive and successful stories. So, Marion, you have anything you want to add to Madam Superintendent?
Yeah, I was wondering when you gonna slow down and let me add
Oh,
some.
well, my mind was going
now
fast.
your
Go
mouth get
ahead.
to rolling.
All right, come on now.
You know how you are. One thing that you mentioned was the whole question about the water affordability plan, and you did play a hell of a role in that. And the fights that we had to get into with other people that claim they represent us, they never moved to do nothing concerning that. And what's your position right now on water affordability plan? And because we facing
I've
the
always
possibility. These folks that have stole water from Highland Park overnight. When we want our water back, that we were able to keep up, and now they out there lying on us. So we want somebody to know, and I know your history, and I know, and someone that's going to work for us and not just sit in those chairs all the time and having a job and getting a check on our backs. So, would you be
Yeah.
interested in dealing with the water affordability plan? It should be throughout Michigan. In fact, we have them
There
in.
should be.
Go on.
I'm sorry. There should be a prohibition. And by the way, councils and legislatures can do this. A prohibition on turning off somebody's water, because
It is.
water
I
is
like that.
it's a human right. You have to have water to live.
It is.
And those are the kinds of ordinances and bills, laws that be put into place. Whatever ways you have to figure out how to deal with this, like maybe making these corporate people pay their bills, those are the ways that you have to go about it. You can't turn off people's water.
No.
And that's my view. But also, I feel the same way about housing.
Mm-hmm.
And we, somehow the way that it used to be when we were growing up, there was public housing. Maybe it wasn't the greatest, but you were inside and you had
Yes.
heat. And I'm just uncomfortable with there not being the same kind of housing programs that we used to have, and I think we need to go back and add more to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that people actually have you can't make it better for yourself if you're frozen or you living out in the street or getting burned up on these grates that people used to. That's actually how my homeless program started. I was driving down the street and saw people sitting on those steam grates on the street and getting themselves burned, and it's unacceptable behavior from a country like this that's supposedly the richest country in the world.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we just have to change the mindset of people that make these laws, and the way to do that is somebody's got to call it out.
Well, all right.
All right.
And like we did so many times. And of course you saw, Maureen, how they came after us.
That's what happens,
When-
and they did everything but destroy. Everything but Madam Superintendent, we held on. And all of the policies that were put in place, we held on, and one by one, the persons that used to be there were either forced out or bought out. And I think it's only 3 of us left from 11 years now. And
I heard you were
yeah.
over there fighting it. I heard
Yeah.
you were still trying.
yeah,
But they're down to a third of the students now, and they're
Whoop,
failing
yep.
again.
Yep.
And so I'm hearing they're going to close the school.
Oh, yeah.
And they would rather close the school than have our children succeed.
Well,
That's the bottom line.
Mr. Eddie, our superintendent, vows that will never happen. And he's already made a opening blanket statement. No, that's not going to happen. We're going to stay right there and recruit a couple more kids. And we've got a year, all of 2022 and 2023, to prove that the way of education is to wrap around services around students and their parents and the community. So
You already proved that.
yeah, over and
You
over
already did
again.
that. I mean, we got the data to prove that. And,
Yep.
the other thing that's so odd about all this is, you remember what they said? They said I wasn't certified. Well, they brought somebody in who wasn't certified. And since then, everybody who has run that school has not been certified.
Well,
So I mean, I guess it's me, but maybe, somebody ought to think about that. But
for sure, for
this
sure.
is really this is really that they don't like it that our children were beating everybody.
And
they didn't like it.
successfully.
Yeah.
Little brown children, little black children, a couple of little white children, and bad, undisciplined. Oh, Lord, they're terrible. But if you put them in there, get some duct tape and tape them to the chair and insist that they stay after school for education, they were taking numbers and kicking butt. And just a wonderful time. And we are, the expectation is, as we continue forward, that's going to be repeated. But that is because of the seeds that you helped to plant. So, we were withered there for about 3 years, okay? But those little withering vines are springing back up again. So, we got to bring those signs out and those flyers that say that failure is not an option, and put them back in the building again, because Detroit Community Schools is standing up. Madam Superintendent, thank you for letting us drag you here this morning. And whatever your activities are that you had to postpone and rearrange and all that, blame it on Welfare Rights. Tell them it was our fault that you ended up being late. Please be available in the next couple of weeks when we call you again for an update.
All right.
And thank you
I'm
so
happy
very
to do
much.
that.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye, and I'll check in with you later.
Thank you.
All right, now, thank you.
All right.
Bye
Thank
now.
you, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
868-0342, 868-0351, or 868-4336. Marion, you can have a choice of a older physician who has years of experience in skin cancer, or a new physician that just finished their residency and has been in practice for 1 year, and they have all the new social media applications and tools. So you can pick Dr. Gillespie, Marcus Welby, that's got all kind of experience, or you can pick Skippy. Now, which one do you pick?
Oh, I done ran too many skippies out of my rooms at at the hospital. You know that. 'Cause
Marion, I know you love that chair, but you do have to sit
you
up.
know, you know my experience in the hospitals in those little skippies. I rather go with the person that's had practice for several years to be able to talk to them. They have a better attitude than those young people that think that they
Know
know
everything.
everything. And you know they're gonna have to stop that. They're gonna have to start those programs again that Maria Fanuff and them started at one time, and that was that they have to be the patient. And
I remember that.
and let them know what the patient be going through with them supposed to be taking care of them. That was a good program,
And I open
very good
you know,
program.
Yeah. And the reason I raised that is because the speaker that just got off the air has a track record of service, and not just conversation, not just having a talk about, well, I think this would be a good idea, or I think that would be a good idea. Well, okay, even with the best ideas that are put into play, there may be flaws in that program, but you don't know it until you get in
You
there.
have to practice it.
You have to get in there and learn it. And I remember that phrase that you all taught me early on: dare to fight, dare to win. Fight, fail, fight again. You have to keep refining and refining and refining whatever the tools are. So with that list of candidates that are running, my advice is always the same. Let's look and see. New social workers at the, caseworkers at the welfare offices, that know the policy. And when you run into them, what kind of problems you have. Okay? They know the policy, and they'll tell you, on this page and that page, but don't understand the essence of what welfare was supposed to do is to alleviate pain from an individual or in a
They can get on
family.
their feet.
See, and that they can get on their feet. And so now we got these new rules and these new rulers, that are spouting policy and whatnot. And at the end of their reciting what the policy is, the person or the family is still in pain.
Well, let me say something about that. And I know I've been at this job of representing the interests of low-income people for years and years and years, but at the same time, I have learned a lot from that section of the class also. And that is, Maureen, when people, the reason why people hesitate to even go and take advantage of some of these programs and what have you is because they're afraid when they go in there they're not gonna get nothing done. They're gonna try to cut my
benefits or
benefits
something.
off and then what have you. I'm just wasting time because that has been the what has happened historically for a long while, until we fought and got it down. But see, that is going now. What they're doing is cutting out the programs that have worked. And here we about to
boy.
go through it even worse than said. We have been telling people for years, watch out, they're going to go after food stamps. Watch out, they're going to try to eliminate these various programs. No, they can't do that. Oh, yes, they are doing it. You know, and those programs, I mean, this country, you know, and we know, I know how we are. This country will go out and talk about all the billions of dollars that they are going to do, you know, to help the people that are being tossed and killed and stuff like that overseas and stuff. But, you know, I don't even trust that because they haven't done a damn thing at home.
No, I trust that they're giving our money away. I trust that.
Yeah, well, I know that.
Yeah, that I trust.
And now a lot
Isn't
of
that
that money,
odd?
no, they're not giving it away so much to the people. They're giving away what they can, what we see. But a lot of that time, that money is going right in the pockets of the capitalists.
I believe it is going in the pocket of the capitalists, and that what's going on now is the military is rolling really great now, and all people, all of those industries that produce bullets and that produce
Oh, my,
missiles and
the
that
Bush,
produce
that's the Bush
tanks and
family.
all the rest of this of the armaments and whatnot. They're doing very, very well now because my tax dollars are going to the military industry and then overseas. And I believe that I have no problem at all with helping. I think both of us, we've said that, have helping mothers and children. But I don't want to buy bullets. I don't want to buy tanks and missiles and guns and all that kind of stuff, because all that does is make the situation last longer and it's worse and worse. Caller, you are so very patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Yeah, and my point of view, reparations is a fake conversation because they're giving it to others while they still
Stealing
making
it from
and
us.
taking. Thanks for taking my call, and I love y'all.
And
All
thank
right,
you so
thank
very
you.
much.
We
Thank you
love
very
you.
much. Okay. Reparations comes in many forms. And for individuals, you know, have to come up with a formula of what reparations look like. You know, if we talk about reparations for being forced into slavery for however many years, what does that mean? Well, not the money's not the answer, because they couldn't pay us for what happened. There ain't enough money in the world for that. So what other kinds of things would be of assistance? And that's part of the conversation that I have a lot. I know you used to when you had all those kids. What is it that you in general were looking at in terms of how to enhance and better support the educational outcomes of kids? I think reading is so important. They all online now. I got a dictionary in my office, and sometimes I walk through the hallway with my dictionary in my hand, and almost all the ninth graders look at me and they say, "Miss Taylor, what's that?" Don't know what that is. I was saying something the other day about some printing work I was getting done, and I said something about I can take some of this home and type it on the typewriter. And one of the ninth grader again, a typewriter, what's that? I like it that they ask the questions, but we're in high-tech mode
Very
now.
high attack.
You know? So what were you and Jen trying to do, and what were you looking at when you were trying to get a better foundation of education for all them kids you didn't raise? What was important to
All
you?
those kids I raised. We
What was
wanted that
important?
everybody should have had an opportunity to have a better life. And that, first of all, it's the same thing that you're talking about. Everybody should be able to, you know, we wrote it up in Welfare Rights. Each family should have a guaranteed annual income. You know, that they don't have to worry about the need for health care and all that type of stuff. Education. It should be from birth to death. They don't have to worry about that type of stuff. You know, I went to Cuba. A gang of, it was a large number of us.
2 minutes left.
Okay, and real quickly, And one thing that impressed me was how all the people, the state paid for funerals for the people there. It didn't have to be the families. It was the government paid for that. We don't have that here like that.
That's an industry now.
You know, and all their children were so educated, Maureen. They could sit down and have an education. I mean, they could educate the teachers here on how to really run a school. Now we facing all this old-timey stuff of our kids don't have the opportunity to have a decent education because none of that nonsense that they had them on
Virtual.
is not working. We told them it wasn't going to work.
They didn't have a choice. What else could they do? They weren't prepared for anything else.
Nothing else.
You know?
If they didn't want to be prepared.
You know? All right, Mary, we're down to our last 2 minutes. What is your last 45 seconds that you want to bring to people on the air today?
And one thing is, I want you to know that in Washington, D.C., on the 18th, is that the 18th?
Of June.
June, there's going to be a huge march against poverty in D.C. You know, if some of you are interested in going, contact, you know, our office.
313-964-0618, 964-0618. Go ahead.
I mean, you couldn't have told me, Maureen, that we would be doing this all over again.
In 2022.
All over again. We got to fight.
All right, if you want to get on the bus, and there's no charge, you want to get on the bus to go to Washington, D.C., that's on a Friday. The march is Saturday. March is on a Saturday, and the bus will be leaving on Friday and be bringing you back Saturday night. Call the Welfare Rights Office, 313-964-0618, 313-964-0618.
This is a poor people's campaign that have been pushed down so much, they are beginning to rise. Okay. And I am happy to see that.
All right, we'll be there. And a lot of Welfare Rights members will be in Washington on June the 18th. I want to say to folks, contact us at the Welfare Rights Office if you're having trouble with a light bill, a gas bill, a water bill, and all of that. Wayne Metro, 388-9799. Sarah program is still taking applications, 322-6222. If you didn't get those numbers or you need information about anything else, call Welfare Rights, 964-0618. And if the Lord is willing and the creek does not rise, we want to say thank you again for Madam Superintendent Sharon McPhail calling in today at the last minute. Thank you for calling in and giving us some of her track record pieces of information. And we're going to have her back again. Marion, everything go well? Next Friday we'll be back. And the last thing we'll tell you today is goodbye.
Bye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.